I never used to disrespect the media, but to me now, it's obvious that the media is no longer interested in being the fourth estate of democracy, and it's not interested in holding power to account. It's interested in taking down conservatives and Republicans. I have a lot of liberal friends that say, oh, well, Trump is really dividing the country. No, he's not. You know how you know that? Is because you look at the numbers of how the country feels about each other. We've been dividing for decades. And the media has always slightly been on the left. And so the way you can tell is go back and look at articles or documentaries that the media produced between 2008 and 16, just keep it simple, okay? See how they portray regular people from Middle America, whether it's East Texas or like Northern California or Eastern Oregon, pick it. And you'll see that they portray those people as racist and xenophobic and don't care about anything but themselves. So it's a culture war that has been going on for a long time. The media has proven it's on one side of it instead of being the referee. And Trump was only the recent ratcheting up on our side of the culture war. So he was saying things that we all were thinking and feeling, but no one wanted to say because we're all good, polite people. And that's why people supported Trump. They're headquartered in these big urban cities, right? And so in general, these urban cities are liberal. And the reason for that is we have to remember we live in a modern liberal era, okay? In other words, what I mean by that is historians, so since 1932, which is when FDR first got elected, till now, Republicans have been in charge of government for 8 years, okay? So that's out of the last 90 years, Republicans have been in charge of government for 8. Democrats have been in charge for about 34. And when I say charge of government, both houses of Congress and the presidency, okay? And Democrats have been in charge of Congress for over 50 of those 90 years. So what we're living in is in a modern liberal era. So in other words, my point is the places that our society currently works for are the cities, because liberalism centralizes power in DC. So when DC makes decisions for our society, sure, it's fine, but it creates one-size-fits-all policies, which is why you see all the big mega cities are flourishing in America now, but everywhere else, it's not stagnating, but we're staying pretty level, right? And so I think that's why the media is liberal, because the media now is just a big institution, and all these big institutions want the status quo. And the status quo has worked in these big cities, it just hasn't worked anywhere else. Which is why like the people are voting for Trump, because the status quo doesn't work for him anymore. Even though if you live in the middle of San Francisco or middle of New York, you think everything is awesome. But just come out here, I didn't even realize, you just drive anywhere on the eastern half of America out of these big cities, just see what these cities are like. They look like abandoned zombie villages that you would see in the movies, with beautiful buildings that are not near as vibrant as they used to be. And that's because we've centralized so much power in DC, and DC has made one-size-fits-all policies that works for cities that look like DC, but not for any of the mid-size or small cities.